Hello and welcome to Politics of the Empire, Episode 4 here on May 8th, 2018. Presented by The Empire Media. You got the usual cast and crew here together tonight. I'm your host, Dorf, joined each and every week by Josh Houselander and Adam Hernandez. So,
what's up, guys?
What's going on?
say hi, everybody. We've been off.
Hi, everybody.
Well, we haven't had an extended absence. This is our planned schedule. We actually kept to it this time. Going on the date that we promised you last episode that we'd be back on the air with this show here. So, topic tonight, kind of twofold, kind of about the same sort of deal. What is going back to episode 2 where we took the 8 values test, the very first question on that test, what is a bigger threat to individual liberty, government or large corporations? And kind of another angle on that, which we'll get into later. Do large companies within the United States hold too much political, economic, and social power? And if so, what can we do about it? So let's get started with the first question I posited. I just want a quick 30-second response from the table. What is a bigger? Because I don't remember how we answered this question each back in episode 2. What is a bigger threat to individual liberty? Even if I don't care what your answer was then, tell me what your answer is now. Big companies or big government? Josh, let's start with you.
They both in our current system can potentially be a threat, but which one is a bigger threat to liberty? Absolutely, positively, big government. Because government actually forces you to do something where a company can, in essence, they are holding over your head something that will make your life better, but you can go outside of that in most situations.
Okay, Adam, what about you?
It really is kind of a hard question because it seems, especially now, because they are so intertwined with each other that you can't walk 2 feet without big government getting involved into big corporations, and you can't walk 2 feet in a major corporation without big government getting involved within big corporations. So I think it's really twofold. And when you ask that question, I think they do work together. But I guess logically speaking, big government is an enabler of big corporation. It can be a bigger enabler to big corporation. So I know I'm not really answering the question, but that's what I'm going to say.
Okay, and I'm going to kind of go kind of a different direction here. In a theoretical level, government is a worse, a bigger evil in this regard. However, I don't know anymore, especially in the age of connectivity and the age of fake news, how big of an influence, and you can never really truly track down the original source of information, or if it's true or if it's false. And that's all enabled by big, let's call it big tech in this case. And that has the ability to swing elections, which swings futures of countries, which fates of worlds. So I don't know anymore, but at least on a philosophical or, theological or theoretic level, it should be the answer should be government without a second thought. But I'm starting to not know anymore.
Well, we're not. I know it may be hard for some people to understand, but big corporations have gotten to the point where they have, in a sense, conquered lands before. I'm going back.
Oh, the
East India Trading Company, is that what it was?
That was Britain's, yeah. And you're thinking of the Opium Wars in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, that too.
Okay.
But
yeah, East India Trading Company at one point de facto owned what, like 2/3 of the known world at that point.
Yeah, and like the banking clan, and that was
the Trade Federation.
And then where you get back to the root of the phrase the Banana Republic. Was it United Fruit?
Their
company
clothes are entirely too expensive.
Yeah, I can't afford that.
No, United Fruit essentially.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the name of the company. I may have that wrong, but I believe bought Ecuador effectively and turned it into its own little money making scheme. essentially enacting legislation by enriching the powers that be within the country to mandate that they sell their banana crop to the government, who would then essentially flip it to United Fruit at criminally low rates. So peasant farmers work
low rate for a banana. I mean, a banana's
okay. Well,
a banana doesn't cost anything anyway. I mean, what do you like that banana?
Well,
you're selling for a penny. You now have to sell it to us for.
I want to make sure I'm getting it right.
Eight of them for a penny. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're right. It's like what is like? I mean, come on, bananas.
Okay, so it was the United Fruit Company, and it was throughout Central and South America. So they forced peasant farmers to sell at a loss their banana crop to the government, who then turned around and flipped it to the United Fruit Company to first sale in the United States specifically.
See, I think Adam makes a great point here, and everybody knows how much it really pains me to say those words all in that order. But Adam makes a great point here, because truth is,
You're talking about the banking plan.
Yeah, the banking plan and the Trade Federation. They will sign you a treaty.
Well, I'm like, what are you? I was like, I don't think I've ever heard of that one, and now I realize what you guys are talking about.
We're talking about Sam.
Can we go more than one episode without talking Star Wars?
Well,
No.
The way Sandhill and Newt Gunray stole liberty and ruined things for the entire galaxy is worth noting. It's worth noting. So
at some point we are going to have we are going to have an episode, whether it's here on XCast, where we have
in the Techno Union,
where we discuss whether or not the rebels were actually good guys and the Empire is.
I think we've had that episode.
Have you guys had that? Okay, well,
No,
I wasn't on it, so
we've said it before, and we will say it again. No, we definitely need to have a
politics
of serious
of the
a politics of the Empire.
of the long time ago.
Yeah, that's what we could call
far
it. Is
away.
we could call that episode "Politics of the Empire."
Okay, Josh, back to how you were agreeing with me, or
So,
I was making a good point.
Adam was making a great point here, and the truth is,
Make sure that's a sound clip. Dorf, go ahead.
I think we'll all agree. I think we'll all agree. If
Mark
simply
the
ask the
time code.
question, can big government take liberty from the people? I would say yes. You guys would agree with that big government can
Absolutely.
take liberty.
Yeah.
And can big corporations take liberty from the people?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. But where this happens is when big government and big corporations are in bed together.
Mm-hmm.
It actually doesn't happen when they're at odds with each other. It happens when they are on the same page. So when you talk about banana republics and talk about the fruit companies in South America and
United
Central
Fruit
America,
Company. Well, this is United Fruit Company is a historic thing.
right. And when you talk about this, and we talk about things in the United States and in other places, and say, is it big government or big business taking your? It's both. It's both. They are working together to take your liberty or to not make your life better. To make life harder for you so it can be better for them. So that is my question. To me, big government and big business need to be at odds with each other.
In order for it to benefit,
Right.
The citizen or the consumer.
Right. So to me, the reason that I like to blame government for these things and not business is because business is inherently selfish. Everything
Profit. Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's selfish. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong
No,
with that.
it's
That's not even a bad
the
thing.
only pure motive that you can never in question. That's never in
No,
doubt is the
they're
profit
there-
motive.
Right. They're there to make money. They're not there to be altruistic to the people. They're there to make money. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
Altruism in the business world gets you stomped out of existence.
Right. Exactly. But where it becomes a problem is when these companies then become backed by the government. So it is the fault of government, truly, because it's government that is doing this. You can blame the evil corporations, because sometimes they do seem like evil corporations, but to me, the way to fix this, a lot of people love to say, okay, big government's evil and big business is evil, and we don't trust the government and we don't trust business, so we need government to regulate the business. That doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. No, what you need to do is you need to have business and government completely separate and give liberty back to your business. Tell the business, do whatever you want. Literally, whatever you want. But we're not going to bail you out. We're not going to help you out. We're going to make sure that other people have the right to go into business too. So then, when it turns out that you're screwing somebody over and charging somebody too much for bananas, well, then it's going to be really easy for somebody else to sell bananas for what they're worth. And they're going to put that company right out of business.
And to counter that, what the best, kind of the let's, the third party check on both big government and big business is an effective journalism. System. I don't have a better word for it, but if you have an effective journalism when people act nefarious and out of line, whether that's big government or big business, there should be a good effective journalism class, let's call it, that people trust to report truth and speak truth to power.
But how does one regulate that?
Journalism?
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily, but
I mean, that's
a whole different topic for another episode, man.
That's a cultural thing. That if you have good journalism, some of these issues and problems will be avoided. But what I'm saying is, we can't just be a people, a rabble, sitting back saying journalism save us.
No, John,
we need to be
that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
But you can't control that because a free press. That's a problem with freedom, right?
I think I didn't effectively communicate my point here.
Okay, all right.
Because that's not what I'm arguing.
Okay.
Or not what I'm trying to.
And just a free press might suck. Some people, when given the opportunity to be free, might be jerks. They might suck.
Sure.
They might not tell the truth. And we can't control that unless we regulate it. Now we're back to square one, and now what? Government's regulating our journalism, and
then what's the point anymore?
Right,
then it's the Ministry of Propaganda. Yeah. But my point about journalism being a check on, especially now, you don't even necessarily need to have news publications, especially now in the world of, the social internet. I'm not even going to call it social media. If company A is misbehaving, whether it's polluting a water system or selling defective products and refusing to take care of it, or, ripping people off with criminally high, literally criminal, but excessively high margins in their product, it's very easy for the mass public to find out. It's very easy for the public to gain that knowledge and then go elsewhere. Now, journalism is a very organized and easy professional way to distribute that information, but it's not necessary anymore. But that sharing of information should be a great check on both government and big business. However, as we've seen in the modern age here, fake news is a thing. So, at the same time, you need to have a very good understanding of the difference between what is propaganda or advertising and what is reality. And that's very, very hard. And I will acknowledge it's very, very hard for the average person to do because, you got 17 other things that you care about more than figuring out if something you read on the internet today was 100% truthful. You're going on the internet for that mild piece of entertainment, mostly to escape your everyday troubles because your job sucks, money's tight, and you're fighting with your wife.
May I raise a question about that topic that is slightly off topic, but I have a feeling that it will bring us back to the main topic at hand, and that is, I don't know if there's necessarily a concrete answer to this question either, but the question is, was news ever not fake? I mean, I don't doubt that there is bias in the media.
I think
left-wing bias, right-wing bias.
Let's take this brief tangent because I actually have I've got a good thing for you.
I'm not saying that there isn't lies going on, but is it perhaps that the internet and us being more connected and us being aware can now point out the minutia that our media is wrong about all the time, where in past decades, they might have been just as wrong just as often. We just didn't know any different. And now we have social media and the internet and
Citizen journalists.
we're connected in so many different ways that we're being fact checked now. And I don't know that. I mean, was news ever not fake? I mean, that I guess is my question.
Adam, you've been wanting. You've been awful quiet. What's up?
No, I was actually gonna say this might be better used for a different night.
No, in
this discussion,
and that's I did say that it was off topic, but I just thought that it was something worth bringing up. That, I mean, did government all of a sudden start taking our rights away? Or have they always been taking our rights away? Did corporations just start stomping on the little guy? Or have they always been stomping on the little guy?
Is that your connection with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that it's. I would venture to say that government and politics is more of a problem now than it ever has been. And that's not the fault of any one person. It's the fault of... See, government I see as, if you want to make a sports analogy to it, government is the stadium that big business plays in. Big government allows these teams to essentially, in some retrospect, do what they want.
Play in their sandbox.
Play in their sandbox, play on their pitch, play on their field, play on their court, whatever it is you
Corporations are the teams, big government is the game.
Yeah.
Or the league.
Or whatever, however you want to put it. And it transcends further than that too. I mean, I see big farm as big business as well. If I want to play, conspiracy theorists, I think that there's plenty of cures out there for ailments and disease that big farm and big government are.
Okay, so you're saying big pharma. I thought you were talking big pharma as in big agriculture, but
No.
Okay, all right, I got you.
Big pharma.
I'm like,
yeah.
what does big agriculture have?
PH.
Pharma. Use
Pharma.
the right term.
Oh, shut up.
I knew what you meant. Yeah.
Thank you.
I didn't.
But I think that there's cures for diseases out there. However, due to the big business side of big pharma, that is being quelled in the spirit of making more money.
And I'm gonna kind of rope it back here to
because that is so regulated, other people aren't able to jump in.
Barriers to entry are higher. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna one comment about current media landscape, and then I'm gonna get us right back on track to the original topic at hand. To your Josh, your question about has the media always been lying, and we just now have the ability to figure it out? Probably, because it's the media is just a conglomeration of biased human beings. Despite their best efforts to become unbiased or objective, they're still human beings. Pure objectivity and pure unbiasedness is measurably unachievable. Now, you can do your best to do it on the individual level, but as soon as you put an organization together, good luck with that.
I always like to say that any intelligent person has bias.
Any unintelligent person has bias too. So, but a lot of the change in journalism and why it's turned into everything is just a partisan opinion piece now instead of actual news reporting is the change in business model. When it was the subscription model, revenue was consistent. You knew what your budget was because you had monthly subscribers. They paid their $1.05 or whatever, for their monthly subscription, and you could count on that money. So you could schedule things out and you didn't have to chase clicks. Now that it's the click model, and the only way to guarantee essentially people stick around on your website and run those ads around their eyeballs a couple times is to reinforce opinions they already have. It's not to report the news. Mm-hmm. And since you've seen the change in business models brought on by the internet, The internet is still a major net positive. But those changes in business models brought upon by the internet has caused the death of what we would call objective journalism, because it doesn't pay to be objective anymore. Objective gets you one click and gone. If 5 seconds of web, time, it doesn't get you sticking around on your page, running up ad views over and over and over. And unfortunately, getting back to the profit motive, that's the only thing that, journalistic outlets are businesses. They have to make money. So that unfortunately they've adapted to the times in the revenue model, and that's what they have to do. That's not healthy for a public discourse, however. And you know what? I'm going to leave it at that. It's a topic for another time. Getting back to, I think we've kind of all established that we're kind of on the fence about which is worse. Can both agree that both.
Only you're on the fence, Dorf. We all.
My address is the fence.
We all have opinions. We all have opinions.
We are all at least willing to acknowledge that both big business and big government are threats to personal freedom in modern society. We could spend all day on just reiterating that point. I want to get kind of to that more focused point that I brought up right there at the beginning. In modern America, do big companies hold too much economic, social, and political power? Specifically, I want to talk about social media companies like Twitter and Facebook and, Google.
You know what the funny thing is tonight, Josh? And it may be a topic that's suitable for tonight since Deep Issues is coming up after this show.
Right.
Is we are talking about the bad big business and the ill effects it could have on a country and its people. Notice what we couldn't sign on to tonight.
Bookface?
Right. Yeah.
We could not sign on to Assbook tonight because of reasons. Oh, it's down or something, or there was an error establishing the page.
No, you Adam, you're right.
You bet speak truth to power.
This has happened to us on more than one occasion.
Yes.
So, no, it's true. We came on a little late tonight because we couldn't get on Facebook Live, and
we're still not on Facebook Live tonight.
No, we're still not on Facebook Live tonight. Okay. All right.
What the hell, no?
And
amateurs.
Yeah, I mean,
you're ruining my podcast, guys.
Are we supposed to chalk that up? It's just total coincidence. We go on Facebook Live all the time, but the one night we're going to talk about how big media,
Facebook is bad,
and big government and big corporations are working together.
It worked last night when when we're doing the majors. So who knows?
Is that a coincidence? Maybe it is. I tend to think I don't really believe in coincidences, but maybe, but maybe it is just a coincidence. It happens, right? It's all numbers, right?
Yeah.
Every once in a while, it's just not going to work.
Sorry, Dorf.
Okay, so I want to posit this on you guys, specifically about Facebook. They've publicly told us that they've run experiments on the user base to try and manipulate their emotions.
Is that the Cambridge Analytica thing?
No.
Oh.
This is prior to that. This is well prior to that. And I'll get into Cambridge Analytica, and Facebook is faultless in this. Give me a bit, and I'll get there. They've run, experiments on their user base unknowingly. They didn't get to opt in or opt out of it to manipulate using the newsfeed algorithm to manipulate their emotions, and they captured data on that. Now, you don't know if they've been doing that still constantly to the wider populace in an effect to push things in a political direction they want, or a social direction they want, or influence people to buy products that they have stakes in, or anything like that. And that's a problem. And the fact that more people don't know that, or aren't willing to recognize that, or B, don't realize that it's a problem, is fucking scary.
It is, yeah. And
Twitter does this kind of same shit all the time. They do the same thing with their newsfeed curation.
Dorf, it is. You're right. It is scary. It is crazy. And the reason why I am more prone to, still despite you bringing up the scariness of that situation, the reason I'm more prone to blame big government over big business is simply because big government regulates it, big government forces things upon you.
Mm-hmm.
So when big business is trying to push something on the people, well, it is inherently not as evil as when government is doing it, simply because people have a choice. Now, are people choosing to stay off Facebook and Twitter because we found out that they're doing things that are nefarious? No, they're not. And over here, I'm guilty too. You know, I mean, we found out that they do nefarious things, and did we then say, well, we're not going to help support this corporation, this entity? You know, and the thing is with Facebook and Twitter too is that you don't spend a dime on it. At least most of us don't.
No, unless, Chris, you pay for advertising or promoted
No,
posts.
some people do, but the majority of people on these sites do not pay anything for them.
My question is, haven't we gone too far though when it comes to certain aspects of big business being a choice?
And here's one. Yes, ultimately, big business, so specifically big tech. Let's look at Google for instance. Is a choice. You don't have to use Google, but it's pretty much impossible to be a functional member of Western society without using a Google product of some sort.
Or in some sense, Dorf, owning a business.
You can't. Absolutely not. No, there's no way in hell you could operate any sort of business without using a Google product.
Yeah, because if you wanna, in today's day and age, I mean, if you want to run a successful business, what do you have to do? You have to be on the internet, right?
Got to be on the internet. You got to have
sense.
You know,
well, Josh, I know you want to argue that, but it's getting to that point right now where if you're going to be successful,
you can still exist in this modern era if you have established clientele.
Yeah,
that you have regular recurring business from without.
I work for a family business that has no internet presence whatsoever.
But you
guys rely on what, word of mouth referral?
Yes.
Okay.
You've already had a footprint though.
How do you establish word of mouth referral without getting,
No, Adam is right.
Yeah.
35 years of business.
There you go.
But if you're a startup.
Good luck.
Yeah. No, you're right. No, I'll give you that. No, I will give you that. I just, I mean, it's just strange when you're saying that, and I'm like, well, I kind of.
Well, you're.
I'm actually like proof that you.
Is your guys' phone number listed anywhere on the internet?
Probably it's. Actually, no.
Okay, well,
no.
There's a
Okay, then phone book.
Okay, there's a grandfather clause. Anymore. Then there's a grandfather.
Really? Yeah.
Wow.
There's a grandfather clause to this right now. Mm-hmm. Eventually, though, that's going to run out.
You're probably right. You are probably right. I don't deny that.
But I guess.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Just for instance, like a lot of construction companies or small businesses do still just work and operate out of
word of mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You get into a neighborhood and people walk by and see.
All of a sudden, you start doing work.
But I'm actually not even trying to be a naysayer to your guys' point here. I'm just, I really wasn't. It's just you guys happen to say it, and then I happen to, during my day job, happen to do
work for a business that doesn't do that.
Yeah. So
but if you're starting up a roofing company today without
first thing you do before you even buy equipment is you set up a website.
You set up a website. You get a domain. Mm-hmm. And you're not doing that without Google.
Probably.
Or you're not being successful at it without Google.
Yeah. Or when you're,
Google is the proud owner.
You're probably going to be subcontracting for Hanson's or one of these big time companies that is all over the internet.
Well, here's another thing. The two biggest search engines in the world are owned by Google, that being Google.com itself and YouTube. The most widely used email application is Gmail. Google interfaces with umpteen different companies where you can use your Google login as their login. All that data is mined, tracked, calculated, and sold. Because that's the cost of free. You cannot be an effective modern worker or an effective modern business without playing ball with them. There's no way to opt out. Now, if we get back to instances in the past where entire segments of the economy were controlled in in this fashion, in this manner, you know, like Carnegie Steel, or what was that? Forget specifically the Carnegie family and the steel company owned. I forget what the name of it is. AT&T. They should be broken up. You could have that argument very easily that the Carnegies had less influence over everyday Americans' lives than Sergey Brin and Google do today.
Well, they're you could say they're trying to do that right now with AT&T.
You could say that. You can also easily make the argument that when big government jumped in and tried to bust up the trusts or break up the monopolies, that they have never...
And the legislation's in place. They could do it if they wanted to.
But they've never actually been successful with this. Truthfully, when you look at the long term of history. I'm a big Teddy Roosevelt fan. I love... He's one of my favorite historical figures to study. Mm-hmm. And he's considered this...
Teddy Roosevelt, Alexander the Great. Which one?
Oh, Alexander the Great.
Okay. So, go ahead.
But Teddy Roosevelt's one of my favorite people to study. And I like him as a guy, but truth be told, with my personal political, ideological, philosophical beliefs, I don't line up with Teddy Roosevelt at all. Mm-hmm. Because although I think he was extremely well-intentioned, I think he was a freedom-loving and, America-loving patriot, I don't think that his policies helped freedom at all in our country. And, he tried to bust up the trusts and break up the monopolies, and truth be told, it probably caused more harm than good. Like a lot of things the government does under the guise of well-intention. And that's just, in this country, we at one point had to break up all of the railroads.
Because they were all owned by like 3 people.
Right. And then what did the country have to do 20 years later? We had to put them all back together because now we realized that...
Oh, shit, we need everything moved west.
Well, no, and it was also that now we have put these railroads at a huge disadvantage, and now other companies are gaining a monopoly, not on railroad, but a monopoly on transportation. Because you can't tell what the future is going to bring with these things. So you thought, railroad is the thing you can't have a monopoly on. But now 20 years later, it's transportation is the thing you can't have a monopoly on. So crap, all those companies that are now struggling and weren't giving their people good benefits or good pay or good anything else, good bonuses, good anything, now we have to throw all those back together. Just say, okay, remember all that stuff we told you you weren't allowed to do? You're allowed to do it now, but you can start doing it tomorrow. But do these companies really want to merge now? I don't know. Wouldn't you rather think, crap,
we're good.
Do I want to merge?
We've got this figured out.
We're not doing good, but if everybody's dying, what does he say in Tommy Boy, right? You're either growing or you're dying. So, do you want to merge with the company that's doing not as well as you just for the good of America? No, let's go back to what we were saying earlier. They're here to make money. They're in this to make money. So, how about, no, I'm gonna play the average here. I'm gonna hope all my, all of my competitors, who didn't used to be my competitors, but the government made them be my competitors, I'm gonna hope that they die and I grow. But, so that's what government involvement did for that in that particular case. So when government does that to Google now, is it just going to be in 15 years? The next new hotness in technology is going to come along, and now we don't have Google there to combat them? I don't know. I mean...
I think you're putting too much faith in the altruism of Google here, man.
No, altruism has nothing to do with it. No. No altruism whatsoever. Simply a corporation big enough to fight the next corporation. Because when government insists on being involved in corporation, then that's how it will be. If it's just here's the other thing. Then
here's another thing that I don't know how much you know about Google's other business lines and their involvement specifically in data collection for the security agencies, and for Amazon, for instance. They just got a multi-billion-dollar contract from the CIA to develop essentially a data mining network for them. That kind of stuff, now you're going to have, the same people who just, coughed up several $billions, that being your congressman, just coughed up several $billions to fund Amazon's R&D project on behalf of the CIA. Oh, by the way, now you've got your hands in too much, that being, shipping grocery and, consumer products. So we're going to have to break you up. You need to split all those divisions up.
Hey, Dorf, I'm with you, and that is absolutely
good luck with having that happen.
That's scary as hell. But to me, the evil in that isn't Google being hired to spy on us. It's that we have a government that doesn't want to protect our privacy and protect our rights. We have a government that's actually outsourcing its spying
its tyranny, yeah,
onto other corporations. That's the problem there. The CIA is the problem. They're not Google. Google's making a buck. Are they jerks? Yeah, probably. Most people are. Who cares? That's the issue there,
the almighty
though.
dollar, yeah.
That is the issue. It's that the CIA isn't respecting the Fourth Amendment. They aren't protecting our rights, protecting our privacy, protecting our security even. They are actually hiring companies to spy on us. And if Google doesn't do it, somebody else will. That doesn't make what Google's doing right. Okay? That's like saying, I don't want to, I'm not trying to compare the two necessarily, but that's like saying, oh, you can't blame the guy that pulls the lever on the gas chamber because they'll just find somebody else to do it. Well, that being true doesn't mean that the guy that pulled the lever isn't a jerk. I mean, he still is. He still is. He still sucks. Well, assuming that it's poor innocent like me in the gas chamber, not somebody else. But that's somebody who deserves it.
All right, I want to posit to
it's not Hitler or something in the gas chamber.
I want to talk two things here tonight and then wrap it up.
Sure.
First, Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah, I thought, is that a made up word? I'm actually
no, it was Cambridge Analytica was the name of a company. They actually went belly up like 2-3 days ago. I think it was announced on Saturday. But
you guys both said that, and I didn't know what the hell you were talking about.
Well, Dorf will explain.
Okay, so I will explain it for those who live under a rock, like Josh.
Josh doesn't have internet.
Yeah, Patrick.
Well, he has internet. He doesn't have cable.
Yeah, we got Patrick Starr over here. He lives under a rock. Essentially, a data mining firm based in the UK mined a bunch of election-specific data all over the world, and it specifically sold it to the Trump campaign, who are debatably didn't end up using it in an effort to micro-target voters in the 2016 election cycle. They used their powers of using a Facebook app, a quiz app thing that they developed in partnership with the app development program with Facebook, allowed, as part of the terms and conditions for taking the quiz or whatever, they were allowed to see your friends list. That's a pretty standard ask. Mm-hmm. So from that and being access to your friends list, all they did was compile publicly available data. They didn't hack anything. They didn't, do anything to peel back the cover of your privacy settings. They only compiled what you allowed the public to have access to. If you didn't, if you weren't on Facebook, you weren't involved with this. B, if you had your security settings tuned properly, you weren't involved with this. C, you wouldn't have gotten, despite your security settings, involved in this if you didn't check I agree if you took the quiz. So honestly, I don't think there was anything wrong with it.
They didn't read it.
They didn't read it.
Now, fine print.
Micro-targeting was the greatest thing since sliced bread in 2008 when the Obama campaign used it to defeat John McCain. It was, this is new politic and this is great. Now all of a sudden, when both sides were using it in this election, it's a dirty word. Welcome to the future, guys. If you don't think it's happening to you every day when products are being sold to you on your online or anything interactive that you walk past in your daily life, you'd be wrong. It's all being used to sell you shit. it's also being used, worldwide to influence your vote.
This is a question that I've actually had when it comes to this, when it comes to them saying that certain campaigns have colluded with people to,
Can't even call it colluded. They paid them to data mine.
I'm using their words though, colluded.
Oh,
to,
come
to
on,
fix
that's such
an
a
election.
charged bullshit.
No, but my thing is, I'm
Okay.
not against you here, Dorf. I'm not. My thing is, if I sit down with somebody and convince them to vote for the candidate I'm voting for, did I just collude to,
By the strictest definition of the word, I guess.
I mean, is there something wrong with that? I mean, shouldn't we all just be our own person?
Isn't that called influence?
I go under the... I just work under the assumption that everyone's trying to screw me over all the time. And so...
God, you must be miserable.
I am miserable. Thanks for pointing it out.
Sorry, buddy.
Oh, it's all good.
We're sorry.
It's all good. No, but I mean, I don't. If somebody says something lousy to me and tries to convince me to vote for candidate A, and I find out they're full of crap, then I don't vote for them. I don't go back and say like, "Hey, you tried to trick me." Like,
so you're saying
what?
there's a responsibility,
Personal responsibility.
Trust but verify.
Yeah, vote for who you want to vote for. It's no one else's fault that you voted for who you voted for.
Or somebody else's fault that you fell for the bullshit.
I mean, you voted for somebody
that you fell for propaganda. Yeah,
regret it. Do whatever you want with it. I mean, it was your vote. You made it.
You should share. It is a very critical and important right in a free society is to vote. You should cherish it and take it seriously. Get your ass informed. Because someone is going to, people are going to come on stage, and the way to win is tell people what they want to hear, and then fuck them over once you get in office. Do what you got to do to win, and then govern after that. That's only the winning strategy because we allow it to be.
Right.
Was that Family Guy episode where Lois is running for mayor, and all she does is go up there and says 9/11 is bad.
America.
Dorf, Adam, I know that this is definitely a topic for another show, and I know we're wrapping it up, but I guess to me the question there is, with big government trying to take away our rights, with big corporations trying to take away our rights, with big government colluding with big corporations to take away our rights and to do all of the things they do that we don't like, does voting really matter? Does voting really get you anything? Different topic, different show. I just want to ask that question now, and we can,
we'll get that on the schedule.
Yeah, no, but really, what does voting really do? I mean, it's
what a nihilistic. God, that's gonna kill everybody's faith in humanity that bothers to listen to the end of it.
This is why I say, I've said the quote before: liberty is far more important than democracy. Democracy is two wolves and a sheep voting over what's for dinner. Liberty is a well-armed sheep contesting the vote. This is important. Liberty is far more important than democracy. The tyranny of democracy can be just as oppressive as the tyranny of a dictator. Doesn't matter. If
tyranny is tyranny, man.
If there's 4 people in this room, because Ed Zaharsky from Deep Issues just walked in, if we all vote on should we all steal Dorf's wallet?
Yes.
And the vote goes 3-1. Well,
then, I was going to show you how empty it was. Hang on.
What does Dorf have to complain about? That's democracy.
It's consensus. Everybody agrees.
Yeah,
majority approves.
75% of the people here think that we should take Dorf's wallet. So,
redistribute that zero wealth.
Exactly.
Motion passes.
Yeah. Oh, does the president want to veto it? No, we got our 2/3.
No, supermajority.
Hand over that wallet, Dorf.
Petey's not till Friday, guys.
Those are. I think we raised some good topics tonight. I think we made some good. I'm good.
One more thing, kind of on this big, big government / big business cooperation, specifically out of China. China. How much have you heard about their new social credit rating system? Have you guys heard about that at all?
Social credit rating system?
No.
Okay,
I
neither of you heard about this.
No.
Okay, so I'm going to read a little bit of a article posted on the Hill. It was posted yesterday. I've actually heard about it a little bit before this. So, in 2014, China established a social credit rating system ran by the National Development and Reform Commission of China. And the goal of the program is to raise the honest mentality and credit levels of the entire society and build a socialist, harmonious society, and encourage keeping trust and punish breaking trust. Now, it's essentially it's Big Brother.
Yeah.
It uses a system of facial recognition. It knocks people's social credit scores down for smoking in non-smoking areas, speeding, littering, a bunch of random little petty stuff.
Is the worst
It affects
parts
your ability. You can't buy plane tickets if your social credit rating isn't high enough. You will get fired from your job if it is not high enough. Your children will not get into the good schools if it is not high enough. And essentially, you can be used to twist anybody's arms to mandate behavior.
It's right when I
and you have nowhere to hide.
It's,
can't
it's
opt
one of those
out.
Things, really, once I start, every time I start to think that the United States and the way I feel like they're taking liberty from us, right when I start to think that they're really starting to suck, I just have to read up on whatever China or Russia are doing right now, and it just makes me realize, like, God bless America.
and here's
at least we still have something. Home of the free.
And here's the problem. This could happen tomorrow, right here at home.
Yeah, I could.
The electronic and surveillance infrastructure is already in place. It's got to write the code to compile it all.
Oh, the code's already there.
Oh, I'm sure it's been written. Whether or not it's active, I'm sure some 3-letter agency you've never heard of is actually collecting this data, and you have a score, but it may not be being used for anything yet.
That's good.
But it
math.
exists.
Ed, you have that code, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Ah, shit. So, all right, majority vote, all in favor of whacking Ed, so he can't share the code.
I got a backup.
Yeah.
You get a dead man switch for it, and it'll go live as soon as we whack you.
You can't kill the signal, man. You can't kill the signal.
And I know what that's from, actually. Believe it or not, the guy who doesn't watch anything actually knows what that's
What's
from.
it from? Tell us.
Is that from the TV portion or the movie portion?
Either one. I'll give.
Okay, so Firefly Serenity, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Good call. Good call.
Yeah, it's one of the 5 things I've ever seen. Thanks to a friend in high school who essentially said, "You've never seen this," and handed me his DVD set the next day.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Anyway, so that's a thing. It's only had a partial rollout in China. The full program goes into effect by 2020. That's fucking scary, guys.
Now, that's like the worst part of.
It's like they used 1984 as an instruction manual instead of a warning.
1984, Brave World, and Minority Report, like all rolled into one.
Yeah, that sounds
basically.
Bad. Yeah, it's bad. There's nothing good about that.
Yeah, no, that's terrible.
Yep. Anything else we want to talk about? We're a little bit shorter than our full hour here. Any
That's
news or anything you want to bring up a little quick? I know we don't want to necessarily do news of the day, but anything you guys want to bring up? Well, since we're here,
we can plug the fact that
go ahead. Yeah.
That immediately after this will be the Deep Issue Show right here on the EmpireMedia.com. Maybe on Facebook Live. Who knows?
Those damn commies out in California share their.
If it's working,
we need to
hour.
redistribute the Facebook Live access.
Hey, Facebook! The next show isn't about how you suck. Can you make Facebook Live work for us, please? But no, the next show, Deep Issues, is coming up next with myself, Adam Hernandez, and Ed Zaharsky. And tonight's topic is the Bermuda Triangle. So if that's interesting to you, please tune in. If it's not interesting to you, tune in anyway, because we're awesome. We're funny and entertaining.
Just kind of a final
go
thought
ahead.
for myself. It seems like I know the arguments for free market and so on and so forth when it comes to big corporations and the ability for there to be a big corporation or corporations. It just seems like having too big of a corporation, I think, is actually a detriment to a free market. It can hold you back. It can make things more unstable. And yeah, go ahead, Dorf.
And here's kind of, Josh, where I'm going to part with you. We're usually in pretty good lockstep on economic philosophy. I'm a staunch defender of capitalism, but I'm willing to acknowledge the harm in monopoly, or effective monopoly. It's not necessarily 100% control over anything specifically, but I'm willing to. For those who don't know, it's Adams. He's Soviet Red Army, Vladimir Konstantinov jersey.
It's okay. It's fake communism, but whatever.
Jeez.
It's what we have right now.
Dorf,
I'm willing to acknowledge and accept the reality that monopoly is awful, and the only essential stop. The end state of capitalism is monopoly.
I think
I'm willing to acknowledge that some sort of regulation or agreement among society has to exist to prevent that from happening.
We are too far removed, ahead, however it is you want to put it, when it comes to that, though. I mean, what you said about Google, Dorf. I don't think, and I know
their fucking hands in everything.
I know, Josh, you're grandfathered into the whole thing, but it's absolutely true. Again, try to start a business without getting involved with Google, getting in bed with Google in a sense, or in another way, social media, whether it's Facebook or Twitter.
You know what, guys? Listen, I actually think monopoly is bad too. Okay, but I think
what about like the BNR Railroad or
I think monopoly can. Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't own
Go to
Boardwalk
jail.
and Park Place. It's BS. And if you put double hotels on it, I don't care what rule book you read, it's not right. Hotel and a house, that's it. Come on, read the book. Read the rules. But, okay, needless to say. Listen, monopoly is bad. I just think the only way to stop monopoly is with we the people stopping it and not buying into it. I also think that monopoly, in what we recognize as monopoly, doesn't happen without greasing the palms of government.
See, Josh, I just
Correct.
think we're.
So again, I put the blame on government.
I just think it's too late for that.
You might be right.
I just think it's too
right.
late. I think it's. I think we're too far removed. I think it's.
That statement right there of "you
back.
might be right" has just got you exercised from any sort of libertarian Facebook group you're a part of.
Probably.
You've just been excommunicated.
Yeah, I know.
You failed. You now fail the libertarian purity test.
Oh, the anarcho-capitalist groups have all just.
You come to the anarcho-communism side. You're halfway there. I mean,
hey, join me on the fence, man. It's pretty cool.
No,
it's pretty nice
fence. Here. Get out of here. I don't want to give you a high five. It might knock you off the fence. It might throw you off balance.
Oh, it's not. You're not going to throw him off balance. He's firmly on the fence.
I know we discussed this before, but that fence post is so far up my fucking ass. I'm not going nowhere.
That's a good note to end a show on.
God damn it, that's going to be a great sound clip. Fuck. Anyway, anything else, guys?
I think we're good, man.
All right, that's going to wrap up episode 4 here of Politics of the Empire, presented by the Empire Media. We don't have a next episode time picked out yet, but 2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks.
We will announce it somehow publicly. We usually decide that beforehand, but we didn't tonight. So anyway, thanks for joining us. Find us on any of the different various places you're watching us now or catching us on the download. So for Adam, Josh, I am Dorf. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.